Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Your boy SEC Football Tube here. We're back with another video, back with another stream, whichever you want to say. We are back with a very, very, very special stream with a very, very, very special guest. My boy and Virginia Tech fan, Hokie for Life, is joining me on the show today to give his prediction on this game. Hokie, how you doing today, brother?
It's been a fun day so far. I'm excited for later to watch all the games that are on tonight, and I'm excited for Sunday.
Oh yeah, brother. It's gonna be a good weekend, man. This is the best weekend of the year, in my opinion. Well, when college football comes back, that's the best time of the year. That's what I meant to say. But
Yeah, that's our Christmas.
amen, brother. It's gonna feel like Christmas for sure, especially when our teams get to play. But it's almost game day, man. And honestly, it's crazy to think that our teams are playing each other because we've been friends
Yeah,
for years, and it's pretty cool that our teams are, squaring up on the gridiron. And it's not often that happens. It's the first meeting between us since 1991. And this one is especially interesting given the Beamer family name. Frank Beamer, the legendary coach for you guys, and now his son Shane Beamer being the coach at South Carolina, hoping to be a legend there too. You can call it the Beamer Bowl, honestly. You can call it the Beamer
yeah.
Bowl. But this game is being played in Atlanta at 3 p.m. The coach of the winning team, by the way, gets a leather helmet trophy. By the way, do you think Brent Pry would look good with a leather helmet on his head?
It'd certainly be interesting seeing with the leather helmet.
Honestly, I okay. So for Shane Beamer, we saw him with the Duke's Mayo bath and
Yeah, that's
everything,
right.
and
He's already had a weird trophy.
yeah, already had the Mayo bath back in 2021. So we'll see which coach gets to wear that one. But what are your thoughts on this game? Not in a win or loss sense yet, but just how do you think this one means to Tech, especially knowing the Beamer family history? And who do you think Frank is going with here? How about the fact that you have an opportunity to pull off an upset? What are your thoughts?
I it's gonna be a tough task to pull off the upset. We've lost a lot of key parts in the off season, but we've also brought in a lot of key parts, and I'm interested to see how the new defensive scheme looks for Virginia Tech with our new defensive coordinator. We've lost a lot of one-score games in the last few years, and I think the new strength and conditioning could also help with that, because a lot of those losses were from us just getting tired near the end of games. And I think this year, if we lose, it's not going to be off that. So I'm very interested to see. Obviously, Kyron Drones is back at quarterback, so he's going to be a huge part to Virginia Tech's offense. And it's just going to be a fun matchup.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, again, I mean, who do you think Frank Beamer is going to be pulling for? Or do you think he's going to be, just watching both teams and wishing both teams well because he's kind of said that.
Yeah, he's kind of in a weird spot. His school
Yeah.
and the place where he called home for his entire life, and now his son's playing against him.
Yeah, that's a
It's a
difficult
hard
position
spot.
for anyone to be in. But we're gonna go ahead and really dive into this thing here. So, Hokie, the first thing I really want to ask you about this game is just, again, what concerns you and what excites you about your team into this game? Virginia Tech is the underdog here, but what are some things that make you optimistic for an upset and things that make you concerned that might not happen?
I'm optimistic for an upset because I feel like Kyron Drones is still Kyron Drones. He was very good in 23. Last year he had a down year, but of course he was injured with a fractured ankle for most of the time he was playing last year. So you do have to give him the benefit of the doubt with
Yeah.
that he was playing injured. And I feel like he's going to be the key, as well as the defense. It just depends on how that new defensive scheme works out. That's both an optimistic and a concern with the defensive scheme, because he's bringing in a defensive scheme we've never seen at Virginia Tech before.
Right.
So
Right.
I am nervous because usually Virginia Tech's defenses used to go through linebacker play, and now we're only going to have 2 linebackers in the field, so it's a very different defense than what we've seen. So either it could be a very innovative defense for Virginia Tech's terms, or it's going to be a very concerning defense. Well, I'll just find out week 1.
Yeah, and
But also,
Oh, go ahead.
you go.
No, it's all right. I thought you were done talking, but you can go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's the wild card of the game. What the defense is gonna be.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I've said on in my preview video. I kind of feel like, and I'll get to this here soon, as well. But I feel like Virginia Tech, that defensive line could be a strength for them, especially within the defense. You guys got some. I mean, y'all bring in some transfers, but y'all also have some returning talent there that can cause issues.
Yeah.
And my concerns for the Gamecocks are, look, we've seen this over and over again. We've talked about it all week. Week 1 jitters. And how the Gamecocks are unfortunately known for coming out shaky in week 1. A lot of teams struggle with, I call them the first game blues. And I mean, you can expect first game blues for anyone, right? But how did the Gamecocks come out looking? How does this offense come out looking? Can you protect Sellers and allow for things to get going on the ground? Because, again, like I said, you guys have some promising guys on the D-line. And despite some weaknesses in the secondary, the Hokies have been efficient on third downs. You know, Tech has a couple of returning guys there that can help enforce that. It does sound like, I forgot his name, but the player that got arrested, I forgot his name. Yeah, Woodson. It does sound like he might more than likely play, which that'll be a good news for you guys if he does.
Yeah, he's a key part.
Yep. So, you know, my question is just, can you get pressure on drones? How do we come out looking? That's really my biggest concern for my team. Just how do we start? Are we making the mistakes that can cost us and let Tech, you know, hang around enough to punch you in the mouth? Because, again, a lot of people sleep on Virginia Tech. I think this is a team where if we come out and screw around, we could get punched in the mouth here. Gamecocks have got to, you know, come out and do the right things here in this game. But the next question I have for you are, what are some areas you think the Hokies could have an advantage over the Gamecocks in this game? And I know you've told me how you feel behind closed doors, but surely there's something you think Virginia Tech could have on Carolina here, you know?
I actually do think we have an advantage, and I think it's our wide receiver core. I think our wide receiver core is very strong going into next year. I'm very confident with the wide receivers we got, especially Aiden Green. I'm excited to see Aiden Green back because he was on fire in that bowl game. I'm very excited to see what Aiden Green's got going into this season, and I'm confident that he'll be an impact maker.
Yeah, for sure. And
I'm very confident.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I also think that we could be strong in the running game too. So it's just a matter of honestly what our offense does.
Right, and you know, honestly, and I'll tell you this. Another thing that I think works in your advantage here is that there is so much unknown, so much new on your roster, that could be hard to prepare for, right? Most of them are transfers that Tech fans are excited for, and you really have to pull film on them from other schools. You know, they're under a new system now, at a new school. So again, it could be a bad thing for Tech where you look at it and go, ooh, we have too many uncertainties here, but can also, strangely enough, work in your favor. It can be a tricky thing to prepare for, which could be dangerous. Because it's a thing like, you know, you underestimate this squad, which I really don't think Beamer is going to, by the way. Or if you aren't prepared for them, you make critical mistakes, come out looking fat, you could get punched in the mouth. I mean, you really could. And something you said about your wide receiver room and everything, despite some hits, you got some guys that concern me, like Aiden Green. That is a concern. Yeah. And again, I feel South Carolina's secondary is going to be really strong this year. And you know, there is some inexperience in that wide receiver room and everything, but you got some guys to give it to us if we don't come out prepared.
I I forgot to mention this, very confident in our new offensive line coach and our new offensive line. I don't feel like Drones is going to get injured by his offensive lineman stepping on his ankle again this year, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully no one gets injured in this game. Hopefully,
Yeah.
and I'm going to tell you this at the end, too. I hope this is a good game, and I hope both teams leave with no injuries or anything like that. And,
yeah, I hope it's a good game. The best team wins.
Amen, brother. And, again, I'll tell you this, Kyron Drones, one of the things that stand out to me, the dude had over 800 rushing yards in 2023. When he's fully healthy, he could be a threat.
Yeah. I'm excited to see him back fully healthy.
Oh, yeah. And when you have a guy like that, you certainly have a chance because Kyron Drones really is that guy. He's got some inconsistencies, but almost every quarterback has some of those. But, honestly, if his offensive line, and again, it's a new offensive line. He lost all 5 starters. And they brought in some guys from West Virginia to help plug in those holes, but I'll be honest, I do have some questions about the offensive line. How quickly does it gel? And again, I'm going to bring up most of this coming soon, but what are some questions you have for Virginia Tech in this game? And what I mean by that is, how good are we on that? Or how will we do this? How will we stop who? Or anything like that.
My question, the big one is, will we get tired near the end of the game? Because I want to see how we'll do in one-score games. Because, as I mentioned earlier, we are 0-12 in one-score games under Pry. Like, that is just not acceptable.
Yeah.
And I want to see, will we be improved in a one-score game? So, it's just a matter of that, really. And you already asked the question about the offensive line. How will the offensive line gel? How will the new defense gel?
Right.
Because for all we know, that new defense could be a disaster. We won't know till Sunday.
Right, but and again, I'll tell you, I really feel like that. My big question for Tech, and I'll ask some questions that I have for my team too, but my question for Tech really is just what's your game plan going to be around stopping Sellers? Because again, Lenora Sellers, he's a Heisman Heisman caliber quarterback. I mean, let's call it for what it is. He's one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And for me, I'm just curious to see how Virginia Tech's going to game plan to stop him and everything. And to be fair, South Carolina's offensive line is a question mark. Now, we've gotten bigger. We've brought in some talent to help bulk the offensive line, but they're known for giving up a lot of sacks. 41 sacks 2 years in a row. And if Virginia Tech's defensive line, like Ben Bell and some others, it could be tricky. So, protecting Sellers is something I think we need to do. And just my question for y'all really is just how are y'all going to scheme around Dylan Stewart as well for the offensive line, because he's another player that can I think he's a mismatch for some of the pieces, so that could be tough as well for you guys. But honestly, I agree with you a lot for your questions. But here's some questions I have for my team. How efficient are you in the red zone? This is something I think really killed us last year in a couple games. Just not being efficient in the red zone. And I'll be bringing this up again later, but you've got to have some red zone efficiency here. Got to. How much do we see of Rasul Fajan? How many carries does he get? I expect him to start. I'm not really worried about that. But I'm wondering how much carries he gets. Like, how much are they going to use him? They might rotate the entire backs because Carolina's got some strong running backs, and he just got declared eligible this week. But to be fair, it's not like this is his first week of practice. He's been practicing with the team and everything, so he's ready to go. My question is just how often do they use him in this game, and really, can you help him out? And can you give Sellers enough time to really hurt this Virginia Tech secondary? Because Virginia Tech secondary, I think that's the next to the offensive line, that's the biggest question I have for Tech. What's that secondary going to be like? Again, you got 2 star players there. But outside of that, it's almost like everyone else is unproven and the depth's just not really that strong. So, how does South Carolina's offensive line hold up and let Sellers do some damage there? That's my big question. So, this is the fun part. What are your keys to the game for Virginia Tech here to pull the upset against the Gamecocks? And I'll let you go first, and then I'll give mine.
Yeah, I think Tech's big key is obviously containing Sellers, and I think if Tech is to win this game, we're going to have to get out to an early lead. I think we're going to have to get out to 10-0 to 14-0 early lead in the first two possessions if we want a chance to win this game. Because I feel like South Carolina can score at any time with Sellers on the field. Sellers is a scary quarterback against. And obviously for y'all, he's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
So I really think the key is to contain Sellers, and obviously just for the defense, just don't let any deep passes. Because that's what killed us last year. We let so many passes get behind us that went for like 50 and 60-yard touchdowns. Like there's one against Clemson in specific that I'm thinking of right now that still makes me mad. But yeah, the honest key to the game is just, can we get out to an early lead? Because I feel like that's the key. We just got to get the Hokie faithful into the game and get the South Carolina fans out of the game. Because it is a neutral site. There's no home field to worry about. If this was in Williams-Brice, I'd be terrified. But yeah, there's no home field. So I feel like for Tech, it's just get out to an early lead.
Yeah, that's very important. That's very important because, 90% of the time, I think that's the numbers, the team that scores first wins the game.
Yeah.
And especially if your defense can, contain Lenora Sellers and South Carolina comes out struggling early, scoring first will help you guys big time. Because, again, like I said, who knows what South Carolina is going to do week one. It's week one. The week one blues, as I call it, it's hit South Carolina in the past. So if Virginia Tech gets to an early lead here and they're doing what they had to do to stop Sellers, that could be dangerous for the Gamecocks. Now,
for South Carolina, they've really just got to get Sellers going.
Right. And here are my keys to a Gamecock victory in this one. And number one, like you mentioned, start fast. Go out and set the tone early. Give yourself some opportunities to set yourself up well in this game. Scoring first will be huge. Like I said, 90% of the time when you score first, you win the game. Now, that's not always the case, but you definitely have the advantage when you score first. Two is give Sellers time. Despite the two players that Tech has in the secondary, again, there are a lot of question marks in that unit. The Hokies have been known to give up explosive plays, as you mentioned, for long gains. And when the quarterback has time to throw, and South Carolina receivers that can burn you here. There are Gamecock receivers that can burn you. Nick Harbor, especially with his Olympic speed, if he can catch the ball and break off some big ones, that'll be lethal. Mazeo Bennett is another massive threat that can be explosive. Jared Brown, especially if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to have a big season. And we got some young guns that can get it done too. Sellers is a Heisman level quarterback, and if you can provide him with the protection and opportunities to make a defense pay, my God, he'll do it. He will absolutely do it. And some people talk about how he needs to improve. Here's the thing. The dude finished third in the SEC in completion percentage. He can throw the ball. If he can get some protection, he's golden. He's golden. So that's a big time key for me. You got to protect Sellers and give him time here. And number 3, and this goes back to what I brought up earlier, for the love of God, be efficient in the red zone. Hokie, I cannot tell you how frustrating it was for me to watch our offense get big gains and completely fall apart in the red zone. That cost us last year. You think Alabama, LSU, Illinois, I believe that's what cost us against Illinois, other than Brett Bielema getting in Beamer's head. You've had opportunities in the red zone and you couldn't convert. You have to do that this year. You have to do it in this game. You can't stall out in the red zone because that's how you give the other team opportunities to come back and bite you. And number 4, and of course this is the common cliche, you hear it all the time, but it's always true, win the turnover margin. That's always important, especially when it comes to avoiding upsets. Limiting mistakes like turnovers, especially in the damn red zone, will help you avoid an upset here. 5, and probably my last one, even though I can name a million, put pressure on drones. Again, you're dealing with an offensive line that lost all 5 starters. Now, they got a couple guys from West Virginia to watch for, but the depth concern is real for that unit. It is. Now, South Carolina lost quite a bit of defensive players, but they still have one of the best defensive players in college football in Dylan Stewart, who will be a mismatch for almost anybody he goes up against. You got guys like Brian Thomas Jr., Nick Barrett, and Monkel Goodwine, I believe that's how you say it, who can step up and be dangerous. So you still got weapons. If you can create pressure and limit Drone's ability to be dangerous, I think you can have a good day defensively. I really think you can. But these are my keys to the game. There's many more I can give, but I'm limiting mine to 5 here. So now it's time for our predictions. And guys, not only will you see me and Hoki's predictions, but you're going to see my dog's prediction for this game. This is something I've seen other creators do, and I wanted to do it myself. So let me tell you what I did, Hoki, and everyone else listening.
Yeah.
What I did was I have my 2 dog bowls, and I had the mini helmets of Virginia Tech and South Carolina. I got y'all's mini helmet, by the way. I've had that for years.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's a nice helmet. I don't know if I've sent you the picture. You're about to see it, though, when I play the video on stream, so make sure you're, pulling up the stream unless you're watching him already and monitoring the chat. But I put treats in both bowls, and whatever team from the bowl my dog eats out of first is his pick to win the game. But that'll be last. The best for last. Hoki, you're my guest, so I'm going to let you go first. And I know this has been kind of a quick show, but it's really not really that much to get into here. I mean, we can talk, we can really just sum this all up in 30 minutes. But how do you think this one will go?
I think this game's close for 3 quarters. I think it's even tied going into the 4th quarter, but I think the 4th quarter, I've just seen it too many times. Virginia Tech runs out of gas near the end and loses 38-24. I just don't really see Tech winning this game, but I don't see it going to a blowout either.
That's fair. That's fair. And, I'll say this as well. Here's I guess, you want me to go ahead and give my prediction for it, or do you have more you want to add on?
You can go.
All right, Hoki with his pick in. I have to admit, guys, for a while, this game had concerned me a bit. And the reason why is history. The history of the Gamecocks coming out shaky in week 1. Making mistakes, stalling out in the red zone, turning the ball over, and just finding ways to not get going. It's just Gamecock PTSD from those, but I also really feel like Virginia Tech's got some dudes that make life hell. But, I mean, if you do all those things I mentioned that kill your drive and momentum, you're going to get punched in the mouth in this game. Along with the question that I just can't shake, guys. The Gamecock offensive line. What do they look like? Because that's been the big issue of the Beamer tenure. Can they give Sellers time to make big plays? I was worried at first if the Gamecocks would come out inept offensively because of all the things that I mentioned earlier, and on top of all that, I was unsure of Rasul Fajan's eligibility. But admittedly, when Sol got declared eligible, I started feeling a little bit more confident about this one. Now, of course, the offensive line has to help him out, but I do have hope that our offensive line has improved. I just see the depth advantage here that South Carolina has on both sides of the scrimmage. And ladies and gentlemen, that matters. That matters. Look, I am not sleeping on Virginia Tech here because I do think they'll have a team that can surprise this year. They're a motivated underdog. Brent Pry knows how much this would mean for him, especially with all the heat on him. That would be a win that could help reshape Tech's trajectory. They have some transfers here that could be troubling for opponents. But my question is just, how quickly do they gel? I think Tech will come out and play hard. I think this will be closer than most Carolina fans think. Because I feel like most Carolina fans think we're just going to show up and win this game by 20. I'm sorry to tell you, I don't think that's happening. Especially early on. But the more I think, the more I ask myself, do you really think that Shane Beamer won't be fired up about this one? Do you honestly think he won't have the team ready for this? This one means more to him than most people think. This team is hungry. They're motivated. South Carolina has a chip on their shoulder after last year. And look, I don't buy the whole South Carolina's going to fall off because of what they lost on defense narrative that a lot of people just can't shake. And I don't blame them for that narrative because it is a concern. Because, there have been teams in the past, 2023, Jaden Daniels, LSU comes to mind for me. Cam Ward in Miami last year, where you had Heisman caliber quarterbacks. Hell, Jaden Daniels won the Heisman in 2023. But the defenses, despite the great quarterbacks, just held them back from their full potential. And what you lose matters. And it's natural to think, well, that team lost a lot of talent, therefore it's going to be rough. And to be fair, we're kind of doing that with Virginia Tech a bit, right? But here's the difference. Yeah. You have talented players. And, Clayton White has been proven to be a good developer. And I think he's been a pretty good defensive coach. And, my question for Tech is just, it's new coordinators. So how quickly do they get into the system and everything? That's my thing about Tech. But, do I think it will be the same as last year? Probably not. But it doesn't mean they won't still be good. I still believe the D can have a strong year, even if it looks different. And with that, while I think there will be struggles and Tech will make this tricky at times, I do think South Carolina will win this game. It'll be a shaky, low-scoring first half, but Carolina will open up in the second half. I got the Gamecocks here. My score prediction, I'm going to go low scoring here. Just the way I see this game going. Both teams are going to kind of struggle offensively. That's just the kind of game I think is going to happen. I got 24-14 Gamecocks. Again, I don't think, things flash out of the gate because it's week 1. Almost no one starts flashy immediately. But the advantage here in the trenches will help the Gamecocks win this thing. So that's it for my prediction. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, it's time to see what my dogs, Cody and Amelia, think about this one. Let's play the video. You ready for this, Hokie?
Yeah, let's see.
Hey, hopefully, hear it. Hopefully, maybe we'll see if one picks Tech or not. All right, it's time for Cody to make his picks between South Carolina and Virginia Tech. And he's going with the Gamecocks. And Cody picks the Gamecocks. Ball knower. That's my boy. That's my good boy. All right, now it's time for my dog Amelia's picks. And she's also going with the Gamecocks. Heck yeah. I got some 5-star ball knowers who are dogs, bro. All right, so that's my dog's prediction on this game. Sounds like we got a clean slate here for Carolina. Both my dogs had the Gamecocks winning this game. Yeah. I think everyone is picking Carolina to win. You're picking them. I'm picking them. And both my dogs are picking them too. And so that's our prediction. That's our prediction.
Yeah. I mean, we can win this game, but I just don't see a way we do win this game.
Yeah, I think you guys definitely could. If Carolina doesn't, start off strong, if they make the mistakes, they could be trouble for them. It could be, but what? If you want to, we can talk about some of the week 1 matchups too, especially tonight. We got Nebraska and Cincinnati tonight. Upset special, I think, might happen tonight. NC State and East Carolina. Yeah. Keep your eyes on that one, folks, because hey, East Carolina beat them in the bowl game, right?
Yeah, and East Carolina is not a joke. Trust me, I watched them beat my team 4 times in my lifetime.
Yeah. East Carolina almost beat us in 2021. Almost beat us in Who was it? East Carolina in 2016? I don't remember. But actually, no. I think it might have been. I don't know. It was either UMass or ECU. I don't know. But that's not a team to sleep on.
It was East Carolina.
It was? All right. So, Cincinnati, Nebraska. How do you think that one could go?
Well, everyone knows I'm a Cincinnati sports fan and I have bias towards Cincinnati, so I hope Cincinnati wins it again, but I think Nebraska wins it 31-28, honestly.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think this will be a close game. It's on the road. It's at Nebraska. No, excuse me. It's on the road at Cincinnati.
No, it's in Arrowhead.
Yeah, that's right. It's an Arrowhead. I'm sorry. For whatever reason, they're playing at the Chiefs Stadium. Again, for whatever reason that is. Huh?
I don't know why they chose Nebraska and Cincinnati playing Arrowhead.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me, honestly. That makes no sense to me.
Teams and they just threw it around. They picked two teams. All right, you're playing in Arrowhead.
I don't even get why they're doing Arrowhead, honestly, but anyways, I like Dylan Raiola. I think Nebraska gets the win there, but like you said, I think it's going to be close. I really do think it's going to be close. I could see Nebraska getting hit with the jitters, as we call it, but yeah. How about Friday? Well, actually, no, we got Boise State. We do have Boise State playing tonight. Let me look and see who they're playing. I forgot who they're playing, so I need to go back and look. USF?
USF.
Who you got in that one? That's
It's gonna be tough because it's in Tampa, but I think Boise will come out with the win.
I'm going USF. I'm picking USF here with the upset. Something scares me about this game for Boise State. I don't know what, but something scares me here. So we go to Friday now, and we really don't have an interesting game until the 8 o'clock slate. We got Auburn and Baylor and Georgia Tech and Colorado. Both at 8 o'clock for whatever reason at the same time. Two of the best games at the same time. I don't know why Auburn and Baylor couldn't be at 3:30. Never mind. Yeah, I kind of see the problem now.
What?
Because of time, 3:30. Almost everybody's at work on 3:30 on a Friday. So yeah, that wouldn't really work out in my opinion. But who you got? Auburn at Baylor. Who do you think is going to win that one?
I think Auburn's going to be one of the worst teams in the SEC this year. I honestly see Baylor winning this game 25-17.
Yeah, I got Baylor too. Listen, if you're so down bad enough to where you got to claim a bunch of fake national titles in the offseason, it's a dead giveaway. Your team is hot doo-doo. So, yeah, I got it.
We don't have any team sport. Not even that down bad.
Bro. Damn. Well, I mean, yeah, and I'll say this too. I mean, it took Carolina a while to win some of those themselves. So, I mean, Hokies might get one eventually. I don't know which sport it's going to be in, but it's hard for me to.
Right now.
Yeah, they got to get one eventually. But yeah, me and him both going with Baylor here. So, Georgia Tech and Colorado. This one, to me, I think this could be a good game, but I do have a good idea on who I'm going with this. Who are you going with it? It's on the road at Colorado, but Georgia Tech... Oh, you can go ahead?
I might get crucified for this, but I think Georgia Tech's going to be in the ACC Championship game this year. I think Georgia Tech's going to have a massive improvement. I even see them beating Georgia this year.
Ooh.
And I think Georgia Tech wins this game soundly in week 1, 41-21.
I like it. We getting spicy here on the Thursday. Spicy takes. But honestly...
That's my spiciest take for the year.
Honestly, I don't think it's that spicy, though. I mean, Georgia Tech's got a lot of talent. And honestly, with that schedule outside of Clemson in Georgia, I think their schedule is very manageable. They might slip up somewhere because, unfortunately, for whatever reason, They drop a couple games a year they're not supposed to, right? And you know they're angry about the game they dropped to you guys last year. And who else did they find a way to crap their pants against?
Okay,
Who was it? Syracuse?
That was Jones' last start. Yeah, I was there for the last two.
Dang. But I'll tell you what. Listen, Colorado lost the two things that made them worth watching last year. Both Shedeur and Travis are gone. It's a new Colorado team. Georgia Tech returns Haynes King, Jamal Haynes. They're more experienced. They're the better team. I honestly think Georgia Tech comes in here and beats them by 10 points. That's my opinion. I think Georgia Tech wins this game. I don't have a lot of trust in Colorado. Texas and Ohio State.
Ooh.
This,
Now
my God. Now we're getting to the fun part, bro. For the first time in forever, we actually have a good week one. Unbelievable. And this is the first one we get. Let me tell you, look, Oklahoma's my second favorite team, so by law, I have to hate Texas. I think Ohio State wins this game here. In Columbus, I think, look, all the Texas hype is fine and everything, but they lost some pieces offensively, and I'm sorry, but we need to see more of Arch Manning before we just anoint him as the next, the next best quarterback ever thing that everyone's hyping him up to be.
But we
I
need to see him
more.
actually in a football game first.
Yeah, we need. That's my point. Can we see him in some real action first before we just start anointing this guy as the next Tom Brady or something?
Yeah,
and Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State. I just think they're too talented, and I do think that they get the win in Columbus. I think they got the home field advantage here. And that does matter. If this was at Texas, I'd probably lean towards them. But it being on the road in Columbus, I got the Buckeyes getting a win over varsity. Anyways, Syracuse at Tennessee.
If it was a night game, I'd be taking Ohio State. I feel like just because it's not a night game, I lean more towards Texas, but I could see either team winning that game. It's hard to pick.
Honestly, fair enough. Yeah, this is a toss-up. I'll be honest. I'm going with Ohio State because it's at home and because I just have questions about Texas's offense. And sorry, until I see it, I'm not ready to anoint Arch Manning. Now, this might be the game where he teaches me, but I'm just sorry. I want to see it first.
Ohio State.
Right, I want to see it first. Syracuse and Tennessee.
Yeah. That's fun. The Orange Bowl.
The Orange Bowl.
That's actually a really fun game. Wait.
I got a sneaky suspicion about this game, bro. On paper, I think Tennessee should win this game despite losing Nico, but for whatever reason, something tells me that Syracuse is going to scare the Vols. I don't. That's not me saying they're going to win the game. I think Tennessee wins by double digits. But this is a situation where, again, this is a completely new Syracuse team. But this is a situation where, if Tennessee don't come out, moving a ball, they could get punched in the mouth here too. They really could. And I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. I think they're taking a slight step back because, again, Nico was mid. Let's be honest. He was mid. But Tennessee itself, I just have question marks about the offense. Like, I still feel like they're not going to be very good offensively. We'll see. But I am taking Josh Heupel to beat Fran Brown in Syracuse here.
I'm getting spicy here.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm actually taking Syracuse and then upset over Tennessee.
Ooh.
Now that I say it, I don't know about it, but I'm still going to stick with it. I think Syracuse is going to beat Tennessee here. I feel like one of the Atlanta games is going to end in an upset, and I think it's going to be this one because I don't think Tech has any chance.
That might actually be fair. Like, one of those games could end up in an upset. I do think that's fair, actually. Speaking of spicy, even though I don't know how spicy it is, Toledo and Kentucky. Fellas, I'm taking Toledo to beat Kentucky. I really think Kentucky's going to be bad this year. And this game, this reminds me of ODU South Carolina in 2024. It could be like that kind of game, even though South Carolina was good last year and Kentucky's not. But still, like, this sounds like a troubling game for the SEC, man. Like this, look, Toledo. I think they're going to get Kentucky. I think they beat them. I think they beat them.
That's not really that spicy because Toledo beat Mississippi State last year.
Yeah, Toledo beat. Didn't Toledo beat another? Who didn't they beat another Power 4 team? Who else did they beat?
I look up. I think they had Toledo football.
Yeah, and to be fair, Kentucky, I'm sorry. I feel like that program, I feel like this is Mark Stoops last year. I don't have a lot of faith or confidence in Kentucky. I think they go down here. I think they go down at home against Toledo.
Yeah, they beat Pittsburgh in a bowl game. But yeah, I think Toledo goes into Kentucky and silences that place.
Look, man, it's just what my gut tells me that this game is scary. I might walk this pick back. I don't know if I'm going to, but something's telling me that Toledo might get Kentucky. I don't know. We'll see. Because maybe Kentucky does come out and surprise us and, oh, actually, they're kind of good this year. I don't know. Alabama, Florida State. I think Bama wins.
I got a spicy one here. I think because it's in Doak Campbell, it's in Tallahassee. That place is going to be rocking. I'm taking the Noles to knock off Alabama.
Hokey.
I don't think Florida State's going to be as bad as they were last year. I think last year was a fluke.
Man, Hokey with the spicy buffalo chicken wings on today's show, man. Spicy.
Next week, I'm going to regret it.
Hey, we both might regret some of these. We both might. So, LSU at Clemson. This is going to be exciting here. This is going to be exciting. Look, I'll say this. Cade Klubnik, he's a good quarterback. I feel like some people are hyping him up just a little too much, but he's a good quarterback. Nussmeier is too. I feel like the offense is going to be the strength of both teams here. While both teams have good defenses, I can see this being a 31-27 type game, bro. I really can. I'm going to take Clemson to win this game. In LSU, they have not won an opener since 2019. I can easily see LSU winning this. Clemson has not beaten an SEC team. I think they're 0-3 in the recently. I think Clemson wins this game, but I can see this going either way.
I agree with everything you said, actually. I have Clemson winning the football game, but I think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be a high-scoring one. I have it higher scoring than you even. I have it 38-35.
Hey, I can see that too. Absolutely, I could. And we both already discussed South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, Miami. Look, Miami, I think is going to be good, but I think they're just a little overhyped, man. Miami strikes me as a team. You know, there's one team in the top 10 every year that ends up out of the top 25 for whatever reason. I think Miami's talented. Carson Beck does have a lot of strong tendencies, but he had a lot of problems against Georgia too. And no offense, but this team is not as talented as Georgia. Miami's good. Notre Dame is good too. It's at Miami, but what home field advantage does Miami have, bro? What home field advantage does Miami have? They play in an NFL stadium that they rent, and the Dolphins end up being embarrassed by them more times than not. I'm excited for this game. I really am. And hopefully, if South Carolina does lose this game somehow to Virginia Tech, hopefully one of these teams do something ultra embarrassing to get the spotlight off of us losing. But
yeah,
I'm going to take Notre Dame to win this game, but I actually do think Miami is going to keep this one a little close.
I'm taking Notre Dame in a blowout.
All Honestly, I
I
can see
don't
it.
think Miami's going to be that good of a football team. And obviously, I'm biased because they're a rival, and I'm still salty about the call last year.
Yeah, that was completely utter
On
bullshit,
Celtic
man.
call.
Y'all completely got screwed.
DeQuan Felton caught that ball. I don't care.
Yeah, he caught that, bro. Bro, that was yeah, that was a complete hose job by the referee.
I got lucky. I didn't have to watch it live because that was right after Hurricane Helene and my power was out, so I didn't actually have to watch the game live, or I would have been even more angry.
Yeah, probably would have had
But
a
I did see
hole
it
through the
online.
TV or something, huh?
Yeah, the TV might not survive that one.
Man, listen. The things I wanted to do to my TV after the LSU game last year, holy crap, dude.
I've had about 15 games in the last 10 years.
Oh, 15. I've had about 50.
Actually,
No.
10 years is too much. It's
Yeah.
in the last 3 years, probably is 10 year.
Woo.
Every one of those one score losses.
Yeah. That's another thing that kind of makes me think Carolina's going to win too, is because I do think this is going to be a close game, and because
Yeah.
again the depth advantage that South Carolina has here, and because Brent Pry is just for whatever reason horrible at finishing games. Part of me feels like that also goes into our favor here in this one, but
Yeah, that's a big favorite. The only way Tech wins, as I said, is if we get out to a big lead.
right. And I'm not sleeping on y'all, but I feel like the only way Carolina loses this game really is if they come out looking completely flat. And again, they stall out in the red zone, turn the ball over. If they play stupid football, and they get a stupid result from it, that's really how I feel. They could lose this one, but I do think Carolina wins, like I told you. But I do think you guys hang in there, and I think it's going to be an interesting game in Atlanta. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. Lenoris, throw the ball to the maroon guy. Oh, wait, we're in orange.
Yeah, you're in orange, and that's
Right,
another
throw to the
thing,
orange
bro.
guy.
Interesting move against the Gamecocks to wear orange.
Okay, we haven't lost in orange in 7 years. We're trying to get some good luck out of it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Honestly, I respect it. I respect it. UNC
It's kind of funny
and
that we wore orange.
what was that?
I said it's kind of funny we wore orange against y'all.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I saw that, I said, "You ain't gonna convince me that wasn't deliberate." Like y'all did that on purpose, bro. You ain't gonna convince me otherwise. But I respect it though. I respect it.
It's funny.
It is. I'm not gonna
Our
lie.
reveal was cool. We did it in a Waffle House.
Yeah, I got some plans with that. If y'all lose, just stay off of Twitter. That's all I'm gonna say because some of the Virginia Tech fans who were rude to me, you're cool, dude. I got nothing wrong with you. But some of the Tech fans who were rude with me, ooh, they gonna get it if they lose that game. But obviously, like you're cool. You're the best Tech fan I know. Honestly, the only Tech fan I really know. But I mean, you're cool with me no matter what. So
I'm gonna see you on Vegan. Sorry for the language. On all the Tech Twitter accounts, just like I'm gonna see you on all the Tech Twitter accounts, just like look at this troll. I'm just gonna laugh and not interact.
yeah. So here's what I had planned. If, and I mean if, we win the game, I was gonna take one of those waffle. There was a photo of a guy that was getting served the waffle. I was just gonna edit an L on it and send it to the DMs of the Hokie trolls. But again,
Oh
I don't,
my god, that's generational. You should do that.
bro. I mean, again, I don't even know if I'm gonna get the opportunity to. I think I will, but that's my plan. If those guys are gonna get
if
it,
y'all
bro.
win, you should do that because that's generationally funny.
Yeah. But TCU
Yeah,
at
do that,
North
man.
Carolina.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun football game.
That's
I
an
think.
interesting matchup. TCU, North Carolina. Man, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what to expect out of Bill Belichick in North Carolina. I really don't.
I do. I think. Well, I know what I think I'm getting out of Bill Belichick in North Carolina. I think they're gonna be. I don't think they're gonna be that good in year one. I think he's gonna struggle out of the gate with college style, and I'm taking TCU in this game, obviously. But I don't think he's gonna do bad by the end of the year. I think just early on he's gonna have struggles.
Honestly, that's kind of where I'm leaning. I'm gonna take North Carolina to win because they're the home team here, but this is one I see going either way. And honestly, like you said, North Carolina strikes me as they're gonna go 6-6 again this year. I don't think they're gonna have it all turned around in 1 year.
Yeah.
But
is there really that much of a home advantage in Chapel Hill, though?
it's really not. I mean, we both know who the real Carolina is anyway, so yeah, you know. But
yeah, Coastal Carolina.
Take that back.
Coastal
Take that
Carolina.
back. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Look, okay, listen. We can both agree on this. UVA freaking sucks. Can we both agree on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the best Carolina is Appalachian State.
I mean, it might be the best state. I mean, no, but
yeah, Appalachian's the best state. That's my state. That's my city.
Bro, Boone is so cool though. Honestly, I've been there multiple times.
One time when we were dropping off my grandpa, where he used to work at his place before he passed away, he worked in Boone. So I've been there multiple times, and that's such a nice town. I even went to the football stadium one time.
Well,
I don't remember who Appalachian State was playing, but I've watched them play once.
I remember they came into Williams-Brice and beat us a few years ago. That's something I'd really like to forget, but they did. They did beat us. So that was tough. I mean, to be fair, we were a 4-win team that year. I mean, we were pretty much. I mean, we were just out of it. We couldn't do anything offensively, and we just could not. When we needed to really step up, we just couldn't do it on defense. But our offense was horrible in 2019. But that really will do it with our predictions. Carolina and Virginia Tech prediction is done, and we got our week 1 picks in. So, Hokie, I do want to say I appreciate you joining the show, brother. And I'll also say I have a lot of love and respect for Virginia Tech. And no matter how this game ends, I wish y'all a good season, bro. I really do. And may the best team win. I hope for a good game, no injuries, and that the best team comes out on top.
Yeah, that's all you can really hope for in these games. And I hope the same thing. I hope the best team wins.
Yes, sir. Yes,
it's gonna be a fun game. Hopefully close.
I think it will be. You know, all my Gamecock fans and friends want me to say, stop saying that. We should blow this team out. I'm like, bro, listen. I'm just. This is how I feel like this is gonna go. Is that our offense is gonna come out struggling a little bit. That's just what we've seen. But
yeah.
Anyways. Thank you, brother. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Let's have a great weekend of college football. Let's have a great weekend of college football. And as always, go Gamecocks. And Hokie, you could say it on here.
Go Hokies.
Y'all have a great game.
You too.
I meant to say you have a great day, but yeah, y'all have a great day. Y'all enjoy the games tonight and tomorrow, and I might go live again tomorrow just for the heck of it. I don't know. Don't hold me to that, but y'all have a good one. Your boy SECFT checking out. Go Cox.